So today we're going to dive into a book that's part cosmic history, part prophecy, and part, well, a utopian manual. It might just be the most peculiar spiritual text to ever come out of America, and odds are you've probably never even heard of it. Okay, before we get started, just a quick reminder. We're about to take a journey into a very, very unusual piece of history. All right, let's kick things off with a question that honestly sounds like it's pulled straight from science fiction. Is it possible that a book written way back in the 19th century could have accurately predicted a bizarre phenomenon that an astronaut witnessed during the height of the space race? So picture this. It's February 20th, 1962. Astronaut John Glenn is orbiting the Earth, and he sees something completely bizarre. It's a swarm of these glowing, luminous particles that he calls fireflies. Now, the official explanation was just ice crystals from the capsule systems, but Glenn himself wasn't so sure. He insisted they seemed to come from somewhere else. And it wasn't long before some people pointed to a totally different idea. They claimed Glenn's fireflies had been described in detail 81 years earlier in this really obscure book called Oahspe. So what exactly is this book? Well, we're not talking about some small pamphlet of prophecies here. No, this is a massive, sprawling text that announced itself to the world as nothing less than a new Bible for a new age. When it was published in 1882, Oahspe, a new Bible, made some pretty huge promises. It claimed to be a sacred history of heaven and earth going back 24,000 years, a complete synopsis of the entire universe, and it even had new commandments for the modern era. So yeah, this was not a modest project. And I mean, listen to how it opens. The very first line is, "All was, all is, all ever shall be." Right from the jump, it has this grand biblical feel, aiming for something timeless and cosmically significant. And what about the title itself, Oahspe? It's a strange word, right? The book actually defines it for us. It's basically a combination of words that means sky, earth, and spirit. In essence, the title claims the book is the all, the sum of all knowledge, both physical and spiritual. Which, leads to the obvious question, who on earth could write something like this? Well, the answer is just as strange as the book itself. Because the author wasn't some theologian or historian. He was a successful New York dentist. So John Newbrough claimed he didn't actually write Oahspe, but that it was written through him. He said that for about a year, starting in 1880, he would sit down at his typewriter, which was a brand new invention at the time, and a bright light would just surround his hands. For half an hour every single morning, his hands would type completely on their own, producing this massive 900-page book without any conscious input from him at all. He claimed the whole thing was the work of angelic ambassadors. Okay, so what kind of universe do these angels describe? It turns out it's a place of immense order and structure. Honestly, you can think of it less like a mysterious divine realm and more like a vast, sprawling cosmic government. At the very top of this bureaucracy is the creator, who's called Jehovah. But this being isn't some king on a throne. It's described as the all-person, an unseen, ever-present force that is explicitly described as being both masculine and feminine. And this is where Oahspe makes a really crucial distinction. Jehovah is the ultimate eternal creator, the figure that we might call God. On the other hand, is something totally different. In Oahspe, God is actually a job title. It's an administrative post held by a very advanced angel who was once immortal, tasked with managing a planet like Earth for a certain period of time. And the book is just filled with other radical ideas like this. It reimagines all of history as a series of 3,000-year cycles. It claims our progress as a species is tied to Earth's journey through different regions of space. It even maps out a lost continent called Pan that it says filled the Pacific Ocean. And through it all, it reinforces one central idea. This entire cosmic system is run by angels who all started out as mortals just like us. But here's the thing, Oahspe wasn't just meant to be read, it was meant to be lived. And its strange legacy stretches from real-world utopian communes in the desert all the way to the fringes of modern paranormal subcultures. In 1884, Newbrough and his followers, who called themselves faithists, used the book as a blueprint to found the Shalom Colony in New Mexico. Their goal was to create a perfect society based on pacifism, veganism, and communal living. And their main mission? To raise orphaned children to become the leaders of a new, enlightened generation. It was a truly noble effort, but after Newbrough's death, internal conflicts and financial problems caused the whole thing to fall apart. Then, decades later, Oahspe found a completely new and, honestly, pretty surprising audience. During the whole flying saucer phenomenon of the 1950s and 60s, the book was rediscovered. Its stories of celestial ships and advanced beings from other worlds really resonated with the growing UFO subculture, and it became a key text for people trying to make sense of these new mysteries in the sky. So what are we supposed to make of this book today? After more than a century, Oahspe is just as baffling as it's ever been. Is it some lost holy book, or something else entirely? A modern critic, I think, just hits the nail on the head when he describes the experience of reading it. He calls it a schizophrenic narrative voice. One minute you're reading a dispassionate historical account, the next you're hit with a thundering, "Thus saith Jehovah," and then it shifts again into Victorian spiritualist jargon. And that really captures the central challenge of the text: its chaotic, totally unpredictable nature. But even with all its strangeness and stylistic chaos, you just can't deny its ambition. Oahspe is a universe unto itself, and maybe the best way to understand it is as a monumental work of outsider art, a sprawling, singular vision that defies any easy category, but stands as a testament to the wild possibilities of the American spiritual imagination. So in the end, we're left with the same questions they had back in 1882. Was this really a message from angelic ambassadors? Was it an elaborate prank by a very creative dentist? Or was it the product of a single, remarkable human mind channeling the boundless imagination of its time into a Bible all its own? Well, that's for you to decide.